sit at the coffee shop over there and you watch cars continually going around the roundabout, you understand how congested it's starting to get a little bit.
It is more congested in New Braunfels, and Chad's only been here a few months and already he's starting to notice a more crowded New Braunfels. So today we're covering the 2022 top 11 pros and cons of living in New Braunfels. If you guys are new here to my channel, thank you so much for hopping on, because every week we're trying to put out relevant content just like this about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. And today you're getting a full dosage of what it's like to live in New Braunfels, the pros and the cons. This is our third pros and cons video in the last 3 years. I felt it necessary to do a third one, a new one, an updated one, because so much has changed even since last year. So there are new pros and cons. Obviously things not for the better here in New Braunfels and things not for the worse. Two of the top pros of living in New Braunfels are at the top of your list, whether you're thinking about moving to New Braunfels or you already moved to New Braunfels. The number one pro of living in New Braunfels is something you can't see, it's something you can feel. The number one pro is the people. The people in New Braunfels are so down to earth, so genuine, so authentic. A lot of our videos require us to speak with people, whether it's the owner of the oldest bakery in the state of Texas or just the regular person on the street. And everybody, guys, welcomes us with open arms. And it's New Braunfels, neighbors helping neighbors. You're not another number. You're not an obstacle in New Braunfels. You are a real human being. People care about you, as many of our new residents are finding out.
You know, we went out last night and this wonderful woman just came up and started talking to us and invited us to sit at her table, and we had a great time talking to her and her partner, and just everyone has been so welcoming and so friendly. And it just feels like we're not going to have as much trouble really breaking into a community and getting to know people. And
there you go, a live testimony right there. And guys, we hear that all the time from new families moving to New Braunfels or thinking about moving to New Braunfels who visited before. That's the first thing they mention, the generosity, and the people here are so nice. So what could possibly be the con to more friendly neighbors? The con is more people in New Braunfels. No doubt we've grown significantly in New Braunfels, especially since 2010. Our population since then almost doubling, which has meant more traffic times, waiting in traffic lights, more noise, more accidents. We used to host some of these videos at the plaza in downtown New Braunfels until I started noticing the traffic and the noise around the traffic circle, even early Sunday mornings, to the point where I'm like, I can't do this stuff anymore. It's too much noise. So I switched over to Landa Park. It's quieter for now. Our pumped up population in New Braunfels is putting a strain on our infrastructure. Part of the growing pains, of course, so the road, sewer, and water improvements are all underway right now, which means dodging orange cones and detours. Now, if you guys are watching this from a larger metro area, you are laughing your you-know-what at me right now, because this is nothing for you. You have much worse. But even if you've lived here for a little bit, as we saw at the beginning of the video with Chad, you're gonna notice a change over a little bit of time, and growth, guys, is not stopping here in New Braunfels anytime soon. The other con to more people moving to New Braunfels, our growth, is also our growth in home prices in New Braunfels. In 2020, our median home price, get this, was $250, around $250. Today, it's nearing $400,000. So higher home prices in New Braunfels, the median home price. And also, I'm finding out longer lines at the grocery store. And I used to park, guys, close to the door when I hit the grocery store. Now, sometimes I cannot find a parking spot and I have to park far away. And we're talking the middle of the day during a school week. All right, enough for the cons for just a second. Let's move on to our number two pro of living in New Braunfels. It is our location. We are smack dab in the middle of two major cities, two major airports, San Antonio and Austin. So what could possibly be the con of that? There's not really a big con to living between two major cities, other than the fact that this area is growing, so you're gonna have to sit in a little bit more traffic. Pro number three of living in New Braunfels is what makes other pros possible, and that is our weather. The average temperature in the summer in New Braunfels is around 95 degrees, and in the winter it's about 66 degrees. Our con is the weather, especially in the summer. It's too hot for a lot of people moving here, especially if you're moving here from, let's say, California. How does the weather in Texas, now that you've been here, compared to that of California when you were there?
It's sweatier. We heard it was dry heat, but for a lot of time we've been here, it's actually been pretty humid. And I don't think I was prepared for the humidity, to be honest.
New residents like Chad R. Justin, you saw he's wearing his hat right there. I am from a northern state, so it took me about a year to get used to this weather, to get acclimated to this hot New Braunfels, Texas weather. But I'm used to it right now, so it really doesn't faze me. I know it gets a little hot, but thank God for our weather, guys, because without the weather, without the warm weather here, we would not have pro number 4 of living in New Braunfels, and I love talking about this. See the smile on my face? Our ultra active outdoor lifestyle. Our 2 rivers, canoeing and kayaking on the Guadalupe River, tubing on the Comel River, one of the best ways to beat the summer heat for sure. Our rivers are magnets for residents and tourists, and the Comel feeds into a portion of our popular water park Schlitterbahn. Endless fun there, lazy river, slides, boogie boarding, and lots more ways to get wet. Our parks are treasures here in New Braunfels. Fisher Park on the east side, walking and running trails, a butterfly garden, fishing, a really cool splash pad for the kids. And Fisher Park sits a little higher up where you can see the city. West side of New Braunfels is my favorite, Landa Park. My favorite hangout, partially because it's a cooling spot with all the large trees, more water here with the park lake, fed from the underground natural springs. Lots to do here, guys. Walking, hiking, biking, swimming, volleyball, or just chilling. You can paddle boat or hop on the Landa Park train. There's fishing, golf, and Landa Park is where people gather for our 4th of July fireworks. And we're not too far off from Canyon Lake, where you can dip your boat in there or your other water toys, swim, fish. The con of all of our ultra active outdoor lifestyle in New Braunfels is that you have to get to many of these places, guys, a little bit earlier in the day because all of our new residents and tourists. I mean, look at this. This is what it looks like on a Sunday morning at Landa Park. I'm telling you guys, you have to get to these places early, whether you're claiming your picnic spot or hitting the water. Pro number 5 of living in New Braunfels, there is always something to do here. We are very family centered. There's events year round. Our biggest one is Wurstfest, a 10-day celebration of our German heritage. We also celebrate our Hispanic heritage with events like the Day of the Dead in October, when families remember loved ones and come together for traditional dance and food. We are parade crazy in New Braunfels, guys. We have our 4th of July parade, followed by the fireworks later that night. We have our county fair parade in September, followed by the county fair at the fairgrounds in New Braunfels. And we have our Christmas parade as well. There's always something going on at the New Braunfels Civic and Convention Center. We honor our living and fallen soldiers throughout the year at the main plaza. We have our annual Christmas tree lighting, also at the plaza. Our farmers market every Saturday, Old Green Market Days in our historic district of Green on select weekends. There is Pioneer Days where you can step back in time. And New Braunfels, guys, is the place for live music, whether you're rolling up for a meal at one of our restaurants or you're kicking back to tunes in Green or taking in legends like Willie Nelson at our Whitewater Amphitheater. You definitely don't have to go on the road again for live music because it's right here in New Braunfels. The only con I can think about of all these events and activities in New Braunfels is that you cannot possibly fit all of this stuff into one day. You're gonna miss something. Pro number 6 of living in New Braunfels is our shopping and our restaurants. And these 2 elements, in my opinion, give New Braunfels our old world charm, the good vibes, kind of makes you feel like you're in a Hallmark movie. Why? Here's why. Many of our buildings date back to the 1900s and even 1800s, mid 1800s. And so many of these buildings have been converted to businesses, and these businesses are local places. They're mom and pop places where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. So no franchises, no corporations in downtown New Braunfels or in our historic district of Green. We do have big box stores in New Braunfels, though. The big box stores are set back northeast side of New Braunfels. Shop for clothes, electronics, pet supplies, watch a movie. For sure, you can make a whole day of it in New Braunfels with all the events, activities, the water, the parks, plus our local and franchise restaurants. Our food here in New Braunfels reflects our German and Hispanic heritages, and food trucks are a thing here too. Barbecue, brisket, breakfast tacos, all on the menu in New Braunfels. The con of our shopping and restaurants here in New Braunfels, we just don't have the shopping selection and the food variety that Austin or San Antonio has. And if you don't like meat and you live in New Braunfels, you just don't have many options here. Pro number 7 of living in New Braunfels is New Braunfels is the doorstep of hill country, which means we have spectacular views in New Braunfels, and it's a plus, especially if you're coming from a state where you have views like mountains or oceans. But our views here in New Braunfels can be a con if you're building your own house on your own lot. People come here all the time. They look at land to build their house on. They fall in love with the view. They purchase the lot without taking into account how much more money they're gonna have to spend building their house because of the topography involved, the foundation involved with that view. Speaking of hill country, pro number 8 of living in New Braunfels is that we're not too far away from hill country darlings Bernie and Fredericksburg. Whether you want to hit wine country Fredericksburg or take a trip to Bernie, you're going to be around 45 to 80 minutes away, depending where you're at in New Braunfels. The con to being so close to Bernie and Fredericksburg is there is no con. But there's a big con when it comes to pro number 9 of living in New Braunfels, and that is all of our new neighborhoods. And many of these new neighborhoods focus on more affordable homes, homes under $400,000, so that's good. But what's not good, the con, is that the builders here don't have nearly enough contractors to finish off all of these homes in a timely manner. We're starting to see warm bodies, like rookie contractors helping to build these homes, first timers, and just missing things, and veteran contractors having to come back to fix things, which stretches out your build time. And a lot of times these builder contracts are builder friendly, where you have to move into the house when it's substantially complete, which means you can move into the house when you have open items, and then have the warranty team come in and make repairs after you've moved into your house. Pro number 10 of living in New Braunfels is that you do not pay state income tax. Hallelujah. Not in Texas at all. One of only several states in the nation that offers that tax break. But the con is that unless you're a 100% disabled veteran, you will pay property taxes in New Braunfels anywhere from 1.65 to 2.77, depending on where you live in New Braunfels. Pro number 11 of living in New Braunfels is all of the new things coming here, including the new condos in the Creekside shopping area, new shops there as well, new homes there as well. There's a PF Chang's coming. Luxury apartments are on the way. And from what I am told, a Whole Foods market is coming to New Braunfels. And that's all these things, guys, just scratching the surface of what's to come. The con to all of our growth is our growth. I mean, more things, more people, more places. So the question is, are we ever going to lose our small town charm, our small town feel? I don't think so, because our two areas where people congregate most, Green and downtown New Braunfels, those are mystical places, historical places, local, hyper-local places that the city will not allow corporation or franchises to touch. So you're always going to feel like it's like I said before, like it's a Hallmark movie. Plus, in my opinion, there's the German factor. Germans settled New Braunfels back in the 1800s for their own independence, to be here, leaving their mother country to be here. So they're not going to give up their independence and way of life anytime soon. That's why I believe strongly we're never going to lose our charm here in New Braunfels and what makes us so unique. If you lived in New Braunfels for a long time or you just moved here recently, what are your pros and cons? And if you're thinking about moving to New Braunfels, do today's pros outweigh the cons? If they do, and if you're thinking about pulling the trigger and moving here, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.